Welcome back to the Liquid Layer. I'm Aaron. In today's video, we have a lot to cover, especially in the macro news today. PumpFun revenue is going up a lot. Some updates with Hyperliquid, some talk about Lighter, and yeah, let's get straight to it. Bitcoin, let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin. Once again, like it has been for the whole summer, it's, just shopping around in this range. Let's go to the price of Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid's actually pumping up a bit today. It's looking pretty good, and it's possible that this could have been the bottom. If Bitcoin decides to dump down a lot, maybe this was not the local bottom, but yeah. Lighter today is getting dumped hard. It looks like somebody must have sold or something like that. Lighter trades very weirdly. If you've been following this coin, which if you watch this channel, if you're one of 55 subscribers and you watch this channel, you probably notice how weird Lighter trades. It will dump a lot. It'll break out of structure and then it'll suddenly just start ripping. So it's a very odd coin. A lot of people who are traders, day traders, say it's not really a very friendly coin to day trade. I'm not a day trader, but that's just what the people say on Twitter, I guess. PumpFun. When you look at PumpFun, it's still looking pretty good, and it's dipping down a little bit, having a little bit of a cool off. But I said this in the video yesterday. These momentum swings that PumpFun has to the upside, it's not like we're seeing 8 daily green candles in a row. It's really pretty consistent in the sense of like there's 2 or 3 green days and then there will be red. And really, I'm not mad at it if there's a little pullback right here. Maybe we pull back here, because every single day the price stays lower, the more tokens that are being bought back if the revenue doesn't drop off a cliff. And right now the revenue for PumpFun is going up, so more tokens are being bought off the market. Of course, if the price comes down. Anyways, first macro story of the day, U.S. inflation falls to 3.4%. CPI came in at 3.4%, which is, I think, good news. I think this definitely lowers the chance of a rate hike happening this year. I think most people have been kind of in the camp that rates won't be changed this year. Once again, nobody's opinion really on Twitter or YouTube actually matters, because it's just, this board of people that is ultimately deciding this, and whoever's behind them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Not to get conspiratorial. Anyways, to our next story. $7 trillion asset manager Fidelity to enable staking and quarterly cash payouts for its spot Ethereum ETF. Not shocked about this. I mean, this is something that's just in demand, so Fidelity's going to try to make money on this, and this is good to see big money acting this way. Third story from President Trump. He's considering lowering capital gains tax. So this is something that I think a lot of people in the financial space who trade would be pretty happy with. So yeah, haven't seen really anybody in the crypto space complaining about this one. Now let's take a look at the next story. U.S. regulator OCC approves Bitcoin and crypto firms to become national banks. America and the OCC are once again open for business. And I think you're going to kind of see this trend continue where America is going to become more business friendly towards crypto companies, because in the past it wasn't, and that just drove a bunch of money offshore. So good news to see there. Now let's take a look at this story from Lewis from Hyperliquid. You guys should all follow Lewis on Hyperliquid. This is a guy I basically go to now to see the Hyperliquid news and stuff. He's super, super good. But he tweeted this out today. For the next 7 days, 0.23% hype will be unstaked. So $436 million of hype. And in 3 hours, this wallet unstaked 113K hype. Here's what he shows here. And, he's saying, I wonder why they're doing this. To be honest, I mean, Hyperliquid's already at a really, really big market cap. I think 100% will get to $100 and beyond. I could see $200 long term, 100%. And you have to realize, when it comes, at least the way I personally think about things, you can do whatever you want at the end of the day, but I have a long-term outlook. So if you're long-term bullish on Hyperliquid or Lighter or PumpFun or whatever, then you probably shouldn't care too much about short-term swings and price action, just being honest. I know we cover the short-term price swings in action, and I post about it on Twitter, but because I'm just addicted to the charts, but it's not going to affect my long-term thesis. Now let's talk about PumpFun. So today there was 9 billion pump tokens unlocking today, not 9 billion cash, 9 billion of pump tokens. So I personally don't think, once again, I'm a long-term pump bull. I don't really care that I know there's going to be unlocks along the way, and I talked about this yesterday in my video. I don't think it really matters unless it's completely wacko and like an outlier, assuming it's not some extreme example. I think unlocks don't matter if it's a good company. I don't really care about unlocks when I have this kind of long-term thesis for PumpFun. So yeah. The next thing, PumpFun revenue is surging. So Thread Guy puts this out, and I guess they're talking about that right now. And I went to go check myself on DeFi Llama right here, and you go to protocol revenue at number 3, PumpFun, $1.7 million of revenue in the last 24 hours. And truthfully, this is really good to see. And with the price also in a correction, you got to remember every single day the PumpFun price is not ripping, and it's every red day PumpFun has, and the numbers will look like this, and the revenue keeps on going up, more tokens are being bought off the market, and they will be burned forever. So, and I think somebody on Twitter said this, and it's a perfect example of, how token burns and buybacks impact the project in the long term. It's kind of like bodybuilding, where in the short term, even after a week or even after a month, you may not see the effect in the chart of a protocol buying back a bunch of their tokens, but long term, it's going to compound in a build, and on a long enough time frame, you will see it. Sort of like bodybuilding. You go to the gym. If your first time going to the gym, after a week, you're not going to be looking like a guy who's been there for 5-10 years. Same with even after being out there for a month, you're still not. It's going to take years. Truthfully, or at least months, a couple months of consistency to see some improvement and see something actually change in your body. Sort of like buybacks. And this is very encouraging to see for PumpFun, and I think this trend's only going to continue. I don't personally see PumpFun's revenue numbers unless Bitcoin has a turbo nuke and the space has some crazy black swan happen. I don't think we're going to see another period again in the next 2 years where PumpFun's revenue is going to come down substantially. I think, I put out this tweet today, and this is like kind of common basic. It hasn't even released yet. Comes out in an hour. But what I basically was saying is that, humans have been speculating for thousands of years, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. There's always going to be attention moments to tokenize. There's always going to be memes on TikTok, things that happen in the news that can be tokenized, and people are always going to be launching meme coins because people are speculators and love to gamble. So I don't really see the revenue coming down substantially at any time in the next couple of years, unless there's some crazy black swan or Bitcoin makes a big move down and the space kind of gets dried up. It's possible. Anything's possible. You can't, after the last bear market, I don't think you can rule anything out of crypto. You just have to be open to the idea that anything can happen. Unfortunately, that's just the reality of it after FTX and all that nonsense. But anyways, this revenue, I really think we're going to be seeing $10 million plus days in revenue for PumpFun when the bull market really kicks off. Like Bitcoin's breaking all-time highs, Solana's ripping past 150, 200. I think things are going to get crazy. But that's all I got for today's video. Not too much to cover in today's video. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. Make sure to go follow me on X. Link is in the description to my X. And join the Discord. Link in the description. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.